Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Lighting Your Sunshine, where we like to shine a light within and empower ourselves. So for today, there is no message. Let's just shake up the cards and see what wants to come through. All right, first one, second one, third one. And so we're going to be using the Animal Guides Tarot with the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. So, just 3 and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so what do we even got on the board here? These ones upside down. These two. All right, so to start off, we have the 10 of Earth with the Labrador. So that's 10 of Pentacles. It says, contentment comes from knowing that your finances are secure and your family's material needs are taken care of. It's important to honor traditions and have pride in your heritage and accomplishments for your ancestors. And so to follow that up is Justice with Awakening. So over here on the right, we have the Resting Tree with the Dream Walker in reverse, as well as the Ice Queen in reverse. So actually what I'm getting from this, especially with the Ice Queen in reverse, and as this one said on the 10 of Earth, have pride in your heritage and accomplishments of your ancestors. And then with the Justice card, it's like awakening from it, saying that we need to change or mix up the cycle. Because when it came to this one ancestor, where it says have pride in them, I kind of get it that they were a little bit of a Queen of Swords in reverse. They were a little bit of an Ice Queen. Their heart wasn't really open. They weren't like the most loving, nurturing, feminine energy. So that's kind of what I'm picking up on. So I don't know if this is like someone still living or if this is a passed over loved one, as it said ancestor. But it's someone who could have even just raised us. It doesn't have to be blood. It could just be someone in the past who was part of our story. It seemed like the real mothering, nurturing energy. Rather than being like the Queen of Cups or the Empress, we got a little bit of an Ice Queen. So this Ice Queen is saying ideas preserved, non-action, and entitlement. So that entitlement is the one that stands out. I kind of get like this really bossy, feminine figure who kind of had a bit of entitlement. It's like, do this for me, you owe me this. It just doesn't have that heart and that warmth and that good vibes kind of going with it. It's almost like, you know what I see? There's a lot of women, and I don't think they know that they do this, or maybe they do, but they don't care. But I do find that a lot of women emasculate men, that they are so nitpicky and so much control freaks and things like that, that like, I just see like a guy, usually guys go out, they just want to do like whatever guys do, simple things. And I see like that feminine energy being like, you never do good enough, you never this, no. And then like, it's almost like I see, especially when it comes to the entitlement, the feminine energy is like, whatever I say, you go do. It's almost like the masculine energy in this is like more of like a slave almost energy. Not quite a slave, but it's like a minion or whatever. Just go do what I want. I want you to go do this. Go fix the house. Go do this. Go do all these things. Why? Because you owe me. I'm entitled. And then so when they don't do what they want, I see this feminine energy kind of being a bitch, actually. And it's like, oh, you could never do anything right. If I gotta do anything right, I gotta do it myself. Although it's like this person's plans, what I get with this feminine energy is like whenever they have a plan or something that they want, they're not competent or capable to go out and do it on their own. They need everyone else in order for their plans to work. Anyways, long story short, I see Queen of Swords type energy, a nice queen, always making plans and getting mad at this masculine energy. And so it kind of made for like a not great family dynamic. And I get that that was more so in the past, because whoever thrived or grew up in this energy, they didn't thrive. But it was kind of like a catalyst I'm seeing to find that justice and that awakening. It's like we can't sit in this dream state. So what's this dream walker? It says dreams, the collective good, and illusions. We can't keep going out and letting this Queen of Ice, Queen of Swords, tell us what to do, because it isn't good for the collective. As this one said, the collective good. We need everyone to kind of thrive in this. And so that's what I see. I see you changing the rules. You grew up this way. You grew up with someone who didn't quite have that nurturing element to them. And I feel like a little bit as a child, things just, I always hear like money or resources, you just never quite had enough. So I think that's why they were in that controlling energy. They were trying to control and manipulate things outside of them. But I don't know, it just didn't make for a peaceful, a nice environment. So as this Justice card says, fair decisions will be made after all the evidence is reviewed impartially. Have compassion for others and try to see all sides of the disagreement. And so a lot of the times when you go from like Ice Queen, right? That Ice Queen, that she's kind of bitchy, this energy. When you go to the opposite end of it, it's almost like fiery and like an asshole energy. And that's what I kind of see is like the pendulum. And so maybe you got both sides of this. I feel like whatever this was, it just wasn't stable, especially for like a child to grow up in that environment. Like it could have been your parents or caretaker. And yeah, so you had to do an awakening, because you were like, this doesn't feel right. I don't feel good, and justice needs to happen. And so you always, you understand why they acted that way. Because what I get from this Queen of Ice Queen, I keep saying Queen of Swords, is that like finances or something was tight. So you know why they acted the way they did. It wasn't from a loving place. It was more of like scarcity and survival. So you can't quite blame them, but you also know how their actions really rippled and affected everyone. So you do the awakening, because as this Justice card says, review impartially. And I feel like that's what I saw. I just see like lots of things always going on as you were growing up, and you're never quite being able to fix things or make someone happy. It's like that kind of energy of never pleasing them. They were never happy, and that's why they're always bitching and complaining, I hear. So you awakened because you're impartial in that. You see why that person acted that way, and then you understand why the other parties acted that way. And you can combine them both together to find that balance, especially when it comes to the scales. It could be so drastically on both sides, but we want it to be equal and even. And so this awakening says, the giraffe says, look at things in a different way and all will make sense. Don't worry if your progress is halted temporarily. Things will start moving again. And so that's what I feel like you had to do, is you're in this dynamic and it wasn't nice. There was a little bit of entitlement. And that person's entitlement is like them being pie-eyed in the sky, a little bit of illusions, and they weren't quite, you could tell where their thoughts and actions were coming from, but it wasn't the collective good of all. It was like making them emotionally happy in the moment. And so for you have compassion for others, and then you try to see all sides of a disagreement. You do, and that's because you're impartial to it. That's the main thing, is to not really get all caught up in this. And so because you are impartial and you've seen things and you kind of know what you wish you had, and then you understand what you had and why that was also beneficial, here you are now, grown up, stepping into your caregiver energy. And so here we have the 10 of earth. It's like you now have your family, and because of this awakening, the only reason why you had this awakening is because you dealt with that Queen of Swords, that Ice Queen. I feel like you got frosted out so much from them that they, every time they like talked to you, it just was like, it was almost like telling you what to do, but when they spoke, it was so icy, it was so frosty, it was so cold. It wasn't warm and loving from the heart. It was always like, I feel like even if they were asking you to do something, it was like telling you, you need to go do that. Or like complimenting you or observing like what you're wearing. And it almost was like a backhanded compliment every time. That's just what I get. It's just icy. Ideas preserved. Well, those ideas preserved are them and how things should be run. And so I feel like you're just in this really chaotic Ice Queen environment, and it scared you. It made you want love. It made you question yourself, because I feel like you were always trying to please others. And so a lot of your battles was just to not please these people, because you can't please these people. So this is the resting tree, and this says patience and stillness. No matter how much you try to go to help the Ice Queen, she's never going to warm up. She's never going to be happy. It's almost just her residing energy. People, that's just their natural functioning frequency. And so by not trying to please them anymore, that's where I see you took your power back by you just resting. Because I almost feel like, you know, you'd be doing your thing, playing your toys or whatever, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, I'm hearing like, and every time that, it was almost like alarm bells. It was like, it's like, uh-oh, how angry are they going to get? How upset? How emotional? Because it was very unstable. The more and more they tried to preserve things, the more and more it seems that they lost control. So the more and more they lost control, that's when you started feeling scared or out of balance. And so I feel like now because you've had this so much, it's just like one day it's like the straw that broke the camel's back. We don't got a camel, we got a giraffe. And so this giraffe is like, I'm not going to carry that big long burden. I'm going to awaken. And as this one said, we'll read it one more time. Look at things in a different way and all will make sense. So eventually one day you're like, oh, if I keep feeding into this person, I'm kind of enabling them for the scales and justice to be unjust, to be in their favor. And this whole time, it's like, what do you want? What do you need in this resting tree? I see by you removing yourself, finding peace, it's not going to affect you as much. And once that doesn't affect you is really when the awakening happens. Because now you start to think for yourself. I feel like before it was always like precaution and like putting out fires. And now it's getting to enjoy the simpler things, because you're not giving all your time and attention to this person. And that's what I feel like. I feel like they're very much, when I looked at it, I just saw this loop or this cycle. They're very stuck in toxic, like I said, non-action. Even though they're preserving ideas and they want things to be so contained, and they're such a controlling person, like there's no growth, there's no getting out of it. It's just like keeping it trapped in this angry cycle of loop. So here you are, you've removed your energy from this person who constantly is just icy to you, and they make you feel bad. And so I don't see that you have a mean bone in your body. I feel like as a kid you had so much of this thrown at you that now it's saying it's important to honor traditions. And these traditions, it's like you grew up the way that you are, but why do you do what you do? Why do you celebrate what you do? You can still honor this person and have love for them because you exist. They grew up in different society norms. I'm almost seeing someone like after the war times, or after like the Great Depression, right? They didn't have many resources and things like that, so they made shift of like what they had. Like they're very crafty people, and so maybe that's where that little bit of that energy comes from. It might not have even been from their generation. It could have been their parents put it on them. And I think that's why it's so important for us to be discerning of what is ours to deal with and what is to let someone else work through. We want to be very independent people, and not be so, we just don't want to get taken advantage of. It's so easy in this day and age to be such because this one I see like is such a bleeding heart. It's such a kind heart. And they met someone whose heart is a little bit frozen. And that person's heart used to be that way. But over time and all these actions that they went through has led them to harden and turn cold. But I don't see you going that way. Why? Because you can get bitter or you can get better. So this awakening is like, I see why they act that way, and I don't need to act that way, because let's say it was something passed down from like poverty times or like the Great Depression. Well, I don't live in that moment. Things have changed. Now these are circumstances we need to think about. But I see the cycle. This is the main thing. The cycle ends with you. It did. Because I saw their parents pass it on to them, pass it on to them, pass it on to you. And now you have your family, and here you are in this very happy 10 of Pentacles. This, as it says, contentment comes from knowing that your finances are secure and your family's material needs are taken care of. What a blessing to not have to worry about your family, because I don't know, I hear you worked hard when you needed to, you're responsible when you needed to, right? Once you have that foundation and that safety, it's easier for you to flow and to be able to be more creative. You get to use more creative energy rather than survival energy. And so once you actually go and do things that you get to be creative, well, your heart gets to be a part of that. So it's hard to have a closed down, cold heart when you are busy being creative. And so it's important to honor traditions and have pride in your heritage and the accomplishments of your ancestors. And what I'm hearing is not so much that you need the accomplishments of your ancestors. We're going to take that into this. But as this said, have pride in your heritage and your accomplishments. That's what I feel like. I feel like you've been through so much that you are in such a cold environment, but you didn't let it make you cold. In fact, you woke up to it and you were like, I could either be super icy cold or I could be a fiery asshole, and I choose to be in between. I choose to be loving and compassionate. I want my children to thrive going forward, and I don't want them to have to worry about can we afford to pay rent this month or have electricity. You know, some people are faced with that choice of, do we pay the bills? Do we have heat and electricity this month, or do we eat food? Like, from your choices, I feel like maybe you had to deal with that a little bit when you were younger. Maybe this is a little bit of someone who grew up in like in a poverty kind of situation, but you grew out of it. And the main thing from all of this, and so I see this person, as this message said, as this 10 of Earth, have accomplishments, have pride in your accomplishments. Because I think maybe you did grow up in a poverty type situation, and it made your parents fight and bicker and, you know, just fight a lot. Unnecessary arguments, wasted breath. And so you worked hard. You worked really, really hard, and you got yourself to this safe, stable place. But I feel like you keep thinking that patterns or, you know, tradition is going to happen, and you're scared it's going to be taken away. And I guess the whole point of this message, to sum this all up, is you completed the cycle. Like, the cycle ends with you. And so going forward, things will be fair. People will see all sides of stories. You can preserve the ideas, but there won't be a sense of entitlement. You just be worthy and deserving just because. And it will be for the collective good. And that will be like a dream come true. Because I hear almost in the past, it was like this or that. But now it's everyone. It's not them or this or that. It's everything. Everything is good. Everything is golden, like this golden retriever. And so, yeah, when you start to feel a little bit agitated, a little bit worried that, maybe I need to be working more, maybe I need to be saving more, if anything, it's just saying like, take a rest. The only thing that I think maybe could be more is like that enjoying the family time. This I see more like vacation or going out and doing activities together, enjoying those things, because as it said, your finances are secure and your family's material needs are taken care of. And so if you add a little bit more creative or fun things, I feel like that will just be that bonding, that cementing glue that it seals that door to the past. Because now your memories were screaming and shouting and fighting, and the new memories going forward will be laughing and playing and celebrating. So we'll leave it there. I hope you guys have a good day, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.